let's start now. This is the work that follows up on what you've been doing so far. We've been working on design, and some groups are a little bit further than other groups, but we are supposed now to all be focusing on the details of our design. So, now we will be doing what you could label prototyping, but it's maybe a little bit more. And first of all, let me introduce this one. So, we are now about halfway in our course. We started with considering cultural variations, and please keep in mind, whatever you are going to design, whatever details you are going to elaborate, I still want each of you to consider cultural differences between the stakeholders or the customers you are working for. And some groups were very explicit in this and other groups didn't mention it, but I require from each group that you keep in mind cultural issues and differences between different types of clients and customers. So I expect this to be part of your report. You have been starting with co-design, and we will continue to co-design. So consequently, you need to talk with your client either in the afternoon or tomorrow, and again next week and after that. So we cannot just stop talking to the client. You need to continue talking to him and maybe also to other stakeholders or staff or the customers of your client. We have been envisioning, and this is what we finished more or less today in your presentations, and now we are going into details. And I label this prototyping, but prototyping is maybe not enough. We are now focusing on the details of the new services and how they look like, how they are represented to all the people concerned. And then, 2 weeks from now, when I'm back in Almere, we will talk about testing your design. And after that, we will finish the design and then present it at the exhibition. So now we are going into real details of the services and how they look like, the representations of them. So this is what we did so far, and now here we are. We are developing tentative solutions. So we're deciding on solutions, we looked at the whole context of the design. We are now developing them, and we label this prototypes. Which means, from now on, we are going to focus on several things. We are going to focus on layout. So things that could be paper, like brochures, posters, but also physical things, physical space, shop signs, display cases. In a way, this is a good example already, right? So this is an example of, well, physical things. You could put this in the hall of the bed and breakfast, for instance. So the first thing, I would like each of the groups to elaborate on this. I've seen sketches of posters, I've seen sketches of brochures. We are now going to make details of them completely there. Right? Secondly, for each group, and some groups mentioned websites and some groups didn't mention website, but I would like each of the groups to consider a website for your client. Right? And a website means two things. It means static design, so what does it look like, what does a screen, what does each screen of the website look like, that's the static part. And we need to consider the dynamics, the navigation, the interaction between somebody looking at the website and what changes if you click at a button or if you open up the window in the website. So the website, both the static parts and the dynamic parts. And the static parts means visual design, and I'm going to talk about visual design in a moment. And the dynamic parts needs navigation, for which we could use PowerPoint. And actually, about PowerPoint, there will be a mini course ready next week. So next week, Savannah will give you the pointer to the PowerPoint for the navigation. And we need to design procedures and rules. And some of you have been already elaborating on procedures, on processes, and we will have to elaborate them now into clear scenarios and storyboards. Right? So this is what we are going to do, starting this afternoon and tomorrow for the whole day, and again continue next week. And you have to do this in collaboration with your client. We continue to co-design. And maybe in some cases you have to talk to other people involved, like clients, customers of your client, for instance. Right? So this is all elaborating what you did so far. So I'm not asking for new design decisions, for new decisions on what to do, but I'm now asking for details. Right?
I want to understand something. We don't speak about website in our project. We have to do...
My suggestion is that you consider a website. If there really is no need for it, that's up to you. But as far as I understand, for each of the clients, a website might be useful. Unless you think the website is already completely okay, which might be the case. Yeah? So I suggest at least look at it. If you think it's not needed, okay, but in many cases websites are a way to show your services to the world and to get the customers of your client to interact in the first place. How to find your client, I'm not sure, what type of client are you working for? Right?
We do the self-service machine and...
But your client is the bed and breakfast, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in many cases, the first point of contact for a bed and breakfast could be a website.
Yes.
Yeah. So my suggestion is to consider the website as well. And maybe there's other things that you should work on the details. I mean, the machine, there is interaction. Now this is just a mock-up, but people are going to press buttons and then things happen, right? And there might be information here. Maybe about prices or whatever, so you should elaborate on that. And if you think there's more interesting interaction here than in the website, it's fine. Just consider it. And in your case, I mean, in a way, I think this is a nice idea to have this type of machine. So, but then you should really collaborate in detail. I want each group to at least elaborate some dynamics. Right? But in your case, if the dynamics of the machine really make sense, why not work on that? Right? But most groups, well, they will have some kind of a website. Anyhow, I want each group to have some kind of dynamic design of interaction, but your machine could really be an interactive machine. Or it will be, because you have buttons, so things happen if people press buttons and maybe insert money or whatever. Yeah. So, just to make sure, we are still working in the general framework of the service design tools. So we have been working on envisioning, and we are now going to, in a way, expand this. So we are, in a way you could say, we are also now prototyping, and we are talking about systems and offerings and interaction. Actually, this is the way why I want each group to design in detail some dynamics, some interaction, right? And now we are really talking about prototyping. It should be now very much looking like the real service, right? So we designed something that you could show to people and people could imagine, yes, this is the intended real service. Okay? So we are still cooperating. I continue to say this. So you continue to work with the people you design for. I insist that we continue to mention why you use certain tools and techniques and why not. We all the time are explicitly choosing for certain techniques, and as you did in the morning, most of the groups explicitly told us these are the tools we use because, and this tool we don't use because. And I hope you continue to be very explicit about your choices there. and you are continuing to show sketches, drawings, pictures, and prototypes like this one, right? I think this is a good example. And so please continue to really show what you intend to do. And if you have a thing like this, you could actually show it to your client, or you could put it on the wall in your client's office and ask people if they understand what it's for, right? So continue to use these type of representations. And be creative. I mean, you all can make sketches or pictures. So, visual design is needed. And visual design is something that's difficult. Many people think they can design and they cannot. So this is Waldo. Now, find out where is Waldo. You see, this is not a good design. Neither is this. This is a real website. You can go there. If you ever consider to buy a wedding dress, you can go to this website. And this is just a small part. And at the same time, you should go to the website that makes a terrible noise. There's music and stuff, and things move, and you cannot find anything. So, we need to use some design techniques. And consequently, I'm now going to switch to the next step.